Hi papillons, welcome back to my channel. This is Phatcat. In my YouTube channel, I will be exploring the topics of spirituality, self-development, as well as sound healing and astrology related content. So stay tuned for a lot more. And in today's topic, we are going to be exploring Venus in Virgo, in the sign of Virgo. So let's start with Virgo. Okay, let's start with the sign of Virgo. The sign of Virgo is an earth sign, okay, but it is mutable earth. It is the airiest of the earth signs, and it is symbolized by the virgin or the maiden, right? So it has, just from the symbolism of Virgo, we can see that it is very clean. The aesthetic of the Virgo or the Virgin is pure, it's clean, it's precise, and it is feminine, right? So Virgo is sensual, but its sensuality is very, it's almost like a controlled sensuality, a sort of restrained or a contained sensuality, right? So Virgo actually knows fashion, right? If you see a lot of Virgos, they are into fashion. They like presenting themselves in a very beautiful manner, but the Virgo will present themselves in a more of a minimal and a clean manner rather than in a very showy manner like a Leo or an Aries or a Sagittarius, any of the fire signs would, right? Or not in a very you will not see them kind of putting themselves out there, being flashy, being very different like a Scorpio or Aquarius fashion person would. Okay, so Virgo in Venus in Virgo, sorry, is all about keeping things in a certain level, in a certain balance, in a certain container. Okay, it has a lot to do with control. It has a lot to do with precision. It has a lot to do with self-reflection. It has a lot to do with being critical, being selective, and being specific. So um, what else can we talk about Virgo in general first, right? So Virgo being an earth sign is firstly going to be very practical. Okay, it is very they've got their feet on the ground, they're very level headed, they're very rooted, and if they want to, if they have plans, they will take action to realize those plans. It will not be something that stays in the clouds. Like if they do have ideas, which they do have a lot of because they have Mercury as the ruler. So Mercury is a sign of communication, right? Mercury is a sign of it's basically symbolized by Hermes, so it also rules Gemini. Okay, so Mercury likes to just move around, spreading the information, enabling communication for trade, for business, for clarity, for bonding in society. So Virgo is ruled by Mercury, which means that they are very much mental, they are very intellectual, they are similar to Gemini in the sense they are very much in their minds, but they're very different from Gemini in the sense that a Gemini likes to hop from one idea to the other and keep exploring, and are much more non-judgmental, whereas a Virgo likes to select a few things that resonate with them, and a Virgo likes to select the best of the best within those ideas, and then they will also work really hard to realize those ideas in the practical reality, in the 3D reality. So that's a very Virgo thing while being ruled by Mercury. Okay, so what else can we say about Virgos in general? Okay, so firstly, they are very practical, they are very grounded, they are very level headed, they are action oriented. Okay, Virgos, as I already said, they are critical. Okay, so that can be a disadvantage, and that can also be an advantage. Okay, so the advantage is that they are able to see things in a way that a lot of other people can't, because they can see, it's like they have eyes that are like razors. Okay, they have razor sharp eyes, which means they can see right into those nitty gritties, they can see those details, they can see the missing links in things. Okay, so they're able to fix things really well. They can kind of zero in on a problem that may seem very missing to somebody like a Pisces or a Sagittarius who's all about the big picture. So Virgo is going to look at that tiny little detail and be like, oh, that is slightly out of place, and if I fix this, the entire machine can start working again, right? So they're very critical, they're very analytical, and they're very detail oriented. okay, which the blessing of it is that they're able to fix things very efficiently. They are efficient in general in the way they live their life. They're very good with time management. They are very good at finding solutions to problems in a way that maybe many of the other signs cannot. Okay, and the negative of that is that they can be really critical of others. They can be critical of how somebody else is doing the job. So they are able to see what is the problem, they are able to see the solution, they want to fix it, and they can see that somebody else is kind of doing it in a very different way, and they usually would not approve of that because they feel like, oh, this person is just messing it up, like I can do it better, let me show you how. Okay, so Virgo can that's where the critical side of it can become the shadow aspect, because they can become critical of others, they can become critical of how something around them functions, and this can become overly critical and overly nitpicky, where they start picking on every little thing that somebody else is doing wrong, and they forget to show compassion or love for the other individual's actions. Okay, but that's just the shadow side of it. That's not how they always function. That's just when that critical nature is taken too far, it can end up hurting somebody else's feelings. Okay, now their Virgos are amazing teachers. Okay, Virgo is almost a born teacher. They are born to teach, they're born to show other people how to do things the right way. They're born to sort of not lead in the sense of a Leo, okay, or a Capricorn, but they're born to lead in a lot more of a subtle way, just by their example, just by doing things the right way, doing things in a precise way, doing things in an objective, logical manner. They're able to show everyone else that, oh, it's not that hard as I thought, it's simpler than I thought. But the way they go about things is very logical, it's very organized, it's very objective. They do have a dependency on labels, they do have a dependency on categories, and they thrive when things are separated and things are cleansed in a way, things are sort of organized, so that then that makes things a lot easier for them to analyze and then also put together if needed, and also to disassemble when needed. So this is the Virgo energy. So Virgo being such an analytical sign, such a logical, practical, grounded, action oriented, hardworking, perfectionist sign, yes, because they like things done the right way. And being such a particular sign, Virgo does not do very well in Venus. That Venus, it doesn't do very well in Virgo, I should say, because the two are very different in the nature. Venus is about love, Venus is about beauty, and Virgo is about beauty but in a very restrained and contained manner. And Virgo is not really about love, it's more about teaching, it's more about showing, it's more about analyzing, and that's where there can be a little bit of a difficulty for this placement, because there is so much analysis, there is so much mental energy that goes into loving somebody else as well as loving themselves. And I would say that your moon sign also greatly determines how you show somebody love and how you reciprocate what you feel about something. So I always feel that the moon sign is also going to influence your love language. I don't feel like it's only Venus, because I feel moon is also a lot to do with your emotions, right? So your emotions, your moods, who you are underneath it all. So I feel like it will play a role, and if you have a softer moon sign, a watery moon sign, it can definitely come to the aid of your Venus in Virgo. Okay, so what happens with the Venus in Virgo is, firstly, as I said, when it comes to style, when it comes to the way they appear and what they like people who are dressed in a neat way. They like people who are well dressed. They like people who are put together. They like people who have this very clean and classy aesthetic. Okay, they do not like styles that are over the top, showy, or a little too controversial, or too dark, right? Their aesthetic will be more on the side of nudes, on the side of those lighter browns or the cream colors or the pastels or the whites, right? So they mostly gravitate towards the lighter, subtler and classy aesthetic, and they appreciate that when they see that in somebody else, and they get more attracted to that kind of aesthetic. So they also like to dress in that classy manner. They're very selective. They may look simple on the surface, but that simplicity is also something that they have calculated and analyzed, and they have put together very meticulously, because they like looking so-called simple, because that simplicity is also very classy to them. It's also very precise and perfect to them. And so they do put a lot of thought in how they come across to somebody. They do not like to ruffle too many feathers in their outward behavior, in their mannerisms. Very different from, like, let's say, who I am as a person. Very, very different. So their outward appearance will be a lot more controlled, it will be a lot more contained, and it even their style reflects all of these elements of their personality. And that's what they like in the opposite sex, in a man and a woman, whoever they are attracted to. Okay. And Venus in Virgo loves to teach people. So as I said, Venus is the teacher, right? Sorry, Virgo, sorry, I'm so sorry, Virgo is the teacher. And I keep mixing things up. My head is, sometimes I have too many thoughts, just, they're all around in my mind, and sometimes I pick on the wrong one. Anyways, very un-Virgo of me. But yeah, Venus in Virgo, they like precision, they like perfection, and they love teaching people how to get things done. So in the partner, they would also like a partner who they can teach, who they can mentor in a certain way, who they can show a higher way to do something, or like a better way to do something, who they can display their efficiency to, who they can lead by example through their daily rituals and their daily routines and so on. Okay, because Virgos, that's the other thing, they are quite ritualistic and routine. They love their routines, they love their self-care time. They are also the sign for health, right? Virgo is all about health. It's all about wellness. So that's the house that it belongs to. So they love having people around them being healthy. And when they love somebody, they love teaching them how to be healthy, how to care for themselves better. They love fixing people as well, which can go into the shadow side of things, because when you want to fix somebody, you are not accepting them for who they are. You are trying to, you're doing that thing where oh, this person is just a perfect project for me to fix. This person has just the qualities that I know how to amplify. So it's almost like you see somebody, you see their potential, and then you see how you can make that potential better or bigger, or you can amplify it or heighten it. And that's where again the mind kind of plays tricks on the Venus in Virgo, and makes them forget that love is not mental, that love is not intellectual, and not everybody can be fixed. And in fact, nobody can be fixed unless they want to fix themselves. And this whole fixing is totally up to the person involved, and it's not up to you, the Venus in Virgo. So Venus in Virgo can take this whole teaching and fixing too far, and kind of end up with a broken heart at the end of the day, because they try to fix somebody and they try to show somebody the way, but the person never got it, or the person never understood, never reciprocated. Like Virgos are very, very hard working. They're mutable, they're action oriented, their mind moves very quickly, and their actions reflect their mind's movements. So same as in love, what happens is also they give their 100% or 200%. They are very willing to compromise. Unlike a lot of the other signs, Virgo is a very Virgo will compromise for the sake of love. They feel like it's something they have to make it work. They have to excel at love. They have to take their self-development to the highest peak. So they will do all these things to kind of come out shining as a perfect example of love, forgetting that love is a lot to do with what is your heart saying, and it's a lot to do with your emotions. And love is not perfect, and people change and people grow, and people will have disagreements. And this is a little hard for the Venus in Virgo to digest, because Venus in Virgo is a perfectionist and wants to do everything perfectly. They also want to love their partner in a perfect way, and they end up overgiving and burning themselves out and their partner may not even notice this. Their partner may just be taking all of it for granted, or their partner does not understand the love language, in which case it can be very painful for the Venus in Virgo, who will then end up shutting themselves off, or believing that love is not for them. But all it really takes, I believe, is that for a Venus in Virgo to find a person who understands their love language. So what is the love language of a Venus in Virgo? Love language of a Venus in Virgo is all about action. It's all about service. As I said, Virgo is the sign of health and wellness, and it is also about service. Okay, it's about also self-care and service. So if their partner is able to appreciate them, even verbally or like through actions, through little acts of service, the Venus in Virgo will feel very redeemed. In a way, they'll feel reciprocated, because the Venus in Virgo is already going to be doing that for you. They're already going to be serving you. They are already going to be nurturing you. Their nurturance is obviously very different from a water sign nurturance, but they are very nurturing sign. Okay, they will see those missing things, those little things that may be missing in your life, and they kind of bring that in for you, and you might not even notice, right? But that's an act of service that they have done for you. Or they may, bring in some things that help you with your health, that help you with your mental health or physical health, especially if you have some ailments. They are there to kind of make you feel better, get you back on your feet, and not in an airy way, not in a cloudy way, but in a very, very practical way, where you can actually see those, sorry for the noise over there, but where you can actually see the tangible results. Okay, as I said, they're very result oriented. They believe what they see. So for them, acts of service are things that they can actually see. They can see the change that the person is creating for them, and then they are very, very grateful and very thankful. And that for them is love. For them, love is when you can actually sacrifice as much as they do, and you can understand the circumstance as much as they do, in order to compromise within that, right? And a lot of signs will not be able to do that. So I feel like for a Venus in Virgo, they may not be able to find their partners right away. It may not be very easy for them to find a suitable partner, because first of all, they are very particular. They are not going to just accept anybody. Secondly, even when they accept somebody, that person may not be able to understand their love language, because Virgo is very analytical and very subtle. They're not always going to express everything on your face. They like things to be understood by the other person, through the mind, and that may not happen in the real life situation, right? So they may end up feeling like misunderstood, or they may end up closing their hearts off, until I believe, like, until the partner is able to meet them where they are, or go beyond. And it's hard to go beyond and above what a Virgo can do for you, because a Virgo will do a lot for you, because that is their nature. Their nature is to make things better around them, is to kind of elevate you, is to upgrade you, is to level you up. And sometimes I said that if they take it too far, then you become their project, and you're not going to feel happy about it. You're not going to feel loved. But that's how they show you love. They show you love by teaching you or including you into the learnings that they have, the knowledge that they have, and they will teach you by example. And if you like learning, if you like understanding all of this, if you're invested in your own self-development and wellness as much as they are, then I would say that you will get along very well with that Venus in Virgo placement, and you will be able to, they will also feel very gratified that somebody is able to learn from them, pick up from them, or meet them at that same level of, hey, let's grow together, let's evolve together, let's be our best versions, let's be as good as we can, let's be the best that we can, instead of staying just where we are. Okay, so that's the thing about Venus in Virgo. It is a bit of a tight placement. It's a bit of a tight and difficult sort of a placement, but it is, if you're able to meet maybe another Venus in Virgo, things can really work out for you. Or there are other placements that can really work out for you as well, as long as that other person is also willing to compromise, is also willing to sacrifice, is also willing to grow and develop themselves, is also into similar topics as you, is to some extent organized and tidy and neat, and who takes actions towards your growth, towards their growth. then they will be quite happy, they will be quite content. And for them, as I said, love is not like this, it is not like this explosion. Love is not an explosion, it is not madness. Love is not a river for them. Okay, so love for them is a lot more like a safe container. Love is more like a neat tidy box. Love is more like a tidy house, like a beautiful tidy aesthetic home. That's love for them, you know. And if their partner is able to match them at that kind of cleanliness and neatness and level of organization and appreciate that, then that's love for them. So it's a very different take on love. And I feel like a lot of people say that, oh, you know, love is a certain way and Venus and Virgo is not able to show love in that way. And I don't believe that love has any particular definition. It's just that we all see love in very different ways. And so if a Venus in Virgo sees love as, you know, self-development, if Venus in Virgo sees love as a clean home and a sparkling home, if Venus in Virgo sees love as, you know, sacrifice to some extent, like hard work and sacrifice, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, because they are very good at what they do and they are determined to love you well, and you just have to be receptive to their language of love, which is a lot more practical, which is a lot more action oriented and service oriented. Thank you for watching this video. See you all soon. Goodbye, papillons.